5:30 in the morning. Every single morning. That's when I hear it. Get up and make me coffee. His voice cuts through the bedroom like a blade. Not a request. Not even close. A command. The kind you give a servant. The kind you give someone who doesn't matter. I keep my eyes closed for 3 more seconds. Just 3. It's the only rebellion I allow myself. Then I swing my legs over the side of the bed, my feet hitting the cold hardwood floor. The house is still dark. The neighborhood is still sleeping. But I'm up, because he said so. The coffee maker sits on the counter like a monument to every morning of the last 8 years. French roast, 2 tablespoons, water to the 6-cup line. I could do this in my sleep. Maybe I am. My hands move automatically while my mind drifts somewhere else. Anywhere else. The kitchen light flickers on, too bright, making me squint. I can hear the television already blaring from the living room. Sports commentary. Always sports commentary. He's stretched out on the couch in his boxers and t-shirt, one hand behind his head, completely comfortable. Completely confident that I'll appear with his coffee in exactly 4 minutes. And I do. Took you long enough. He doesn't look at me when he says it. His eyes stay glued to the screen, but he reaches out his hand, expecting the mug to be placed in it, like I'm a waitress, like I'm furniture. I set it on the side table instead. A small thing, meaningless, but my jaw tightens anyway. What, you deaf now too? He laughs. Actually laughs. Come on, babe. Hand it here. I pick up the mug and place it in his outstretched hand. His fingers don't even brush mine. No thank you. Never a thank you. This is the part where I should go back upstairs. Get ready for my own job. I work full-time at an elementary school. Cafeteria manager. Making sure 200 kids get fed every day. But first, I have to make sure he gets fed. Bacon, eggs, toast. The whole production. By 6:15, the kitchen smells like grease and coffee and something else. Something I can't quite name. Resentment, maybe. It has a smell. Sharp, bitter. It seeps into the walls. He appears in the doorway, scratching his stomach, yawning. Smells good. He sits down at the table, picks up his fork, and starts eating before I've even finished plating my own food. Meeting with the guys tonight, he says between bites. Poker. Don't wait up. I nod. I always nod. And hey, pick up more beer on your way home, yeah? We're out. Another nod. My neck is starting to hurt from all this nodding. He scrolls through his phone while he eats, occasionally laughing at something, showing me nothing. We sit 3 feet apart. We might as well be on different planets. Your sister called yesterday, I say. My voice sounds strange, like it belongs to someone else. So? He doesn't look up. She wanted to know if we're coming to Thanksgiving. Tell her yeah, obviously. He shoves another forkful of eggs into his mouth. You're making that sweet potato thing, right? Everyone loves that. Everyone. But does he? I don't ask. I stopped asking questions like that 2 years ago. When he finishes, he stands, leaves his plate on the table and walks away. The sound of his footsteps fading up the stairs feels like freedom approaching. But it's temporary. It's always temporary. I stack the dishes, scrape the plates, run the water too hot, watching my hands turn red under the stream. The burn feels like something. At least it feels like something. My phone buzzes. A text from my coworker, Janet. Coffee before work? My treat. I stare at the words. Coffee. Someone offering to get me coffee. The irony sits heavy in my chest. I type back. Can't. Running late. It's not true. I have 45 minutes. But the thought of explaining why I'm tired, why I look like this, why I always look like this, is too much. So I lie. Add it to the pile. By the time I leave the house, he's in the shower. Singing. Actually singing. Some old rock song from the 80s. He sounds happy. Content. Completely unaware that downstairs, I stood at the sink for 3 full minutes, gripping the counter so hard my knuckles went white, breathing through my nose, reminding myself that this is normal. This is marriage. This is what I signed up for, right? The front door clicks shut behind me. I sit in my car in the driveway, hands on the steering wheel, staring at the house. Our house. 2 stories. Blue shutters. Flower beds I planted 3 springs ago. From the outside, it looks perfect. From the outside, we look perfect. I wonder what it would take to make the inside match. I wonder if it ever will. The engine starts. I back out of the driveway, and somewhere in the back of my mind, a tiny voice whispers something I'm not quite ready to hear yet, but it's getting louder. It happened on a Tuesday, 5:30 in the morning. The usual shout, "Get up and make me coffee!" But this time, something inside me stayed still. Perfectly, completely still. I opened my eyes, stared at the ceiling, and I didn't move. "Hey, you hear me?" His voice came again, louder now, annoyed. "Coffee. Now." I sat up slowly, deliberately. My movements felt different, heavier, like every gesture had weight now, had meaning. I looked at him standing in the doorway, his face already red with irritation, and I said nothing, not a word. I walked past him, close enough that he had to step back, close enough that he felt it, that shift, that change in the air between us. In the kitchen, I made the coffee, but I took my time, each step slow, methodical. I measured the grounds, watched the water drip, poured his cup, all while he stood in the doorway, watching me with something new in his eyes. Confusion. "What's your problem?" he asked. I handed him the mug, looked directly at him, and smiled. Not a warm smile. Not the smile I'd given him for 8 years. This smile had edges, sharp ones. He took the coffee, frowning now, and walked away muttering something I didn't try to hear. The breakfast came late that morning, 10 minutes late. The eggs were slightly overcooked, the toast a shade too dark. I placed his plate in front of him and sat down with my own, eating slowly, my eyes on the window. "You mad about something?" he asked. I took a bite, chewed, swallowed, took a sip of my coffee, said nothing. "Seriously, what's going on with you?" I looked at him then, really looked at him, and I saw something I hadn't let myself see before. How small he was, how ordinary, how absolutely unremarkable. I stood up, cleared my plate, and left him sitting there. That was day 1. By day 3, he thought it was funny. He'd laugh when I didn't respond. Oh, giving me the silent treatment now. Real mature, babe. He'd wave his hand dismissively, like I was a child throwing a tantrum. But his coffee kept coming out weak. The bacon kept coming out chewy, and I kept moving through the house like a ghost. Present, but untouchable. Day 7, he wasn't laughing anymore. "This is ridiculous," he said, following me into the laundry room. "Are you seriously going to keep this up?" I folded his shirts, one by one, precise corners, perfect creases, my hands steady as stone. "You know what? Fine. Be like that." He stormed off, but an hour later he was back, hovering, uncertain. I started noticing things I'd trained myself not to see. The way he'd tilt his phone away when I walked by. The way he'd laugh too loud at messages. The way he'd started coming home later from those poker nights, smelling like perfume that wasn't mine. At work, Janet cornered me in the supply room. "Girl," she said, studying my face, "something's different about you." I stacked napkins on the shelf. "Different how?" "I don't know. You're standing taller or something. You seem..." She paused, searching for the word. Awake. Awake. Yes, that was it exactly. That evening, I sat at the kitchen table with my laptop. Our bank account pulled up on the screen. I'd never looked at it before, never questioned where the money went, trusted him to handle it. What a mistake that was. I scrolled through months of transactions, restaurants I'd never been to, charges to places I didn't recognize, cash withdrawals, lots of cash withdrawals. My finger hovered over the mouse. Click. Another page. His credit card statement. The one he said was for emergencies. Leather jacket, new watch, hotel, hotel, hotel. My breath came shallow, but my hands didn't shake. Not anymore. I closed the laptop, stood up, walked to the window. Outside, the neighborhood was settling into evening, porch lights flickering on, families having dinner, normal lives, happy lives. Or were they? How many of those houses held secrets? How many of those smiles were real? He came home at 9, later than usual. His shirt was untucked, his hair messy. "Hey, babe." He tried to kiss my cheek. I turned my head. His lips caught air. For a moment we stood there, me looking at him, him looking confused, then worried, then something else. Scared. "Are you leaving me?" he asked, his voice quiet now, almost vulnerable. I walked past him, went upstairs, got ready for bed. The question hung in the air, unanswered, and that, I realized, was more powerful than any response I could have given. In bed that night, he stayed on his side. I stayed on mine. The space between us felt like an ocean. "I don't understand what I did wrong," he whispered into the dark. I closed my eyes, but I wasn't sleeping. I was thinking, planning, calculating. The next morning, 5:30 came right on schedule. But this time, before he could shout, I was already up, already downstairs, already making coffee. For myself. I sat at the kitchen table, laptop open, a notepad beside it. Numbers and notes covering the page. My coffee steaming in front of me. The house quiet except for the sound of my pen scratching paper. I heard his footsteps on the stairs. Heard him stop in the kitchen doorway. Felt his eyes on me. "Where's my coffee?" he asked. But his voice had changed. Less demand. More question. I took a sip of mine. Looked up at him. And in that moment, I saw it register on his face. She's done making my coffee. She's done with all of it. I looked back down at my laptop, at the document I'd been reading. Divorce attorneys in the area, consultation fees, reviews, success rates. He saw it too. The screen angled just enough. "What are you doing?" His voice cracked. I saved the document, closed the laptop, stood up with my coffee and walked toward the door. At the threshold I stopped, turned back to look at him one last time, and I smiled that same smile from Tuesday morning, the one with edges. Then I left for work early, leaving him standing in the kitchen alone, finally understanding what silence really means. It means the end is coming, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. The law office smelled like leather and old books, the kind of place that promised solutions, the kind of place I never thought I'd need. "Mrs. Patterson," the attorney said, sliding a folder across her mahogany desk. "I've reviewed everything you sent. The bank statements, the credit card records, the photographs." I nodded, my hands folded in my lap. Calm, steady. "You have a strong case. Marital asset dissipation. We can prove financial infidelity." She paused, studying my face. "Are you sure you want to proceed?" Was I sure? I thought about every morning, every command, every moment I disappeared a little more, every time I nodded when I wanted to scream. "Yes," I said. "I'm sure." She smiled. Professional, but something else flickered there. Recognition, maybe. Like she'd seen this story before. Like she knew how it ended. "Good. We'll file within 2 weeks. In the meantime, document everything. Every interaction. Every expenditure. Keep doing exactly what you're doing. What I was doing. What I'd been doing for 3 weeks now. Watching. Waiting. Planning. At home. I moved through the rooms like I always had. But everything was different now. I wasn't cleaning. I was collecting evidence. That credit card statement left on his desk? Photographed. That text message notification on his phone while he showered? Screenshot saved to a cloud account he didn't know existed. I'd learned something important in those 3 weeks. Silence isn't empty. Silence is full. Full of observation. Full of preparation. Full of power. He'd stopped yelling for coffee 2 weeks ago. Now he made his own. Badly. The kitchen would be a mess when I came downstairs. Grounds on the counter. Water on the floor. But I'd just step around it. Make my own cup. Sit at the table with my laptop. And he'd watch me. Always watching now. Trying to figure out what happened to the woman who used to jump when he spoke. She didn't disappear. She woke up. At work, during my lunch break, I sat in my car and scrolled through my phone. I'd found an online community. Women like me. Thousands of them. Sharing their stories. Their pain. Their escapes. I read every word. Some made me cry. Some made me angry. All of them made me stronger. If you're reading this, if you're living this, I want you to know something. You're not alone. Your story matters. What you're feeling right now, that knot in your stomach, that voice in your head saying you deserve better, listen to it. And if this story is giving you the strength to take that first step, share it. Tell someone. Comment below. Let other women know they're not crazy. They're not asking for too much. They deserve respect. We all do. Subscribe to hear how this ends. Like this if you understand. Because every share might save someone. Every comment might be the push another woman needs. We're in this together. I closed my phone, wiped my eyes, started the car. That evening I had a meeting, not with the attorney this time, with a financial advisor, a woman named Patricia who specialized in divorce planning. "You'll want to open your own account," she said, sliding papers across the table at the coffee shop. "Transfer exactly half of the joint savings. Document the transaction. Make sure everything is traceable and legal." I signed forms, created passwords, took control of money I'd earned but never touched. "How are you holding up?" Patricia asked, her voice softer now. "I'm ready. I said. And I meant it. Back home, he was on the couch. Always the couch. But tonight he wasn't watching television. He was just sitting there, staring at nothing. "We need to talk," he said when I walked in. I set my purse down, took off my jacket, walked to the kitchen. "I'm serious. We need to talk about this. About us." I poured myself a glass of water, drank it slowly, rinsed the glass, placed it in the dishwasher. "Say something." His voice rose, desperate now. "Anything. Just talk to me." I turned to face him. He looked smaller than I remembered. Older. Tired. The man who used to fill every room with his voice now looked like he was shrinking. "Please," he said. The word came out broken. "I don't know what you want from me." I picked up my laptop from the counter, my notepad, my pen, and I walked past him, up the stairs, to the guest bedroom where I'd been sleeping for the past week. Behind me, I heard him, not yelling, crying. Good. In the guest room, I opened my laptop, pulled up the document I'd been working on for days. A timeline. Every incident. Every dismissal. Every humiliation. Dates. Times. Witnesses when there were any. 8 years of marriage reduced to a bullet point list. My phone buzzed. A text from Janet. "Saw you at the coffee shop today. Everything okay?" I typed back. "Everything's about to be." 3 dots appeared. Then, "I'm proud of you." I stared at those words. When was the last time someone said they were proud of me? When was the last time I was proud of myself? Now. The answer was now. I pulled out the folder the attorney had given me. Inside, a draft of the divorce petition. Pages and pages of legal language that all meant one thing. This marriage is over. I read every word, made notes in the margins, highlighted sections. This wasn't just paperwork. This was my freedom, written in black and white. A soft knock on the door. His voice, quiet, almost unrecognizable. "Can I come in?" "No." A pause. Then footsteps retreating down the hall. I looked at my calendar. 2 more weeks, the attorney had said. 2 more weeks of this quiet war. 2 more weeks of watching him realize what he'd lost. Then the real ending would begin. I closed the laptop, turned off the light, lay in the guest bed, staring at the ceiling. 5:30 would come tomorrow morning, like it always did. But this time, when it came, I'd be ready, because the last coffee was coming, and with it, the truth he'd spent 8 years pretending not to see. 5:30 in the morning, the last time. I was already awake, had been for an hour, sitting at the kitchen table, dressed, composed, a white envelope in front of me, my coffee steaming beside it. Upstairs, I heard him stir, the bed creaking, his feet hitting the floor. Any second now. "Get up and make me coffee." The words echoed through the house, but this time, they landed differently, like stones thrown into an empty well. I didn't move, didn't flinch, just took a slow sip of my coffee and waited. His footsteps on the stairs, heavier than usual, angrier. He appeared in the kitchen doorway, hair wild, face already red. "Did you not hear me?" I said. He stopped. His eyes found me sitting there, found the envelope, found the suitcase by the door he hadn't noticed, found the keys to his truck on the counter, separated from my car keys for the first time in 8 years. "What's going on?" His voice changed. Smaller now. I stood up, picked up the envelope, held it out to him. "What is this?" He didn't take it. "Divorce papers," I said. My first words to him in 4 weeks. They came out clear, strong. "You've been served." The color drained from his face. "You can't be serious." "I've never been more serious about anything in my life." He laughed. That same dismissive laugh. But it sounded hollow now. Desperate. Over what? "Because you're throwing some kind of tantrum? Because I asked you to make coffee?" "You didn't ask," I said quietly. "You never asked. You ordered. Every single day for 8 years. Like I was your servant. Like I was nothing. That's what this is about? Coffee?" He threw his hands up. "Are you insane?" "Read the papers," I said. "Page 3. The financial records. The hotel charges. The restaurants. The woman you've been seeing for 6 months." His face went white. Actually white. "That's right," I continued. "I know everything. Every lie. Every secret. Every dollar you stole from our joint account to spend on her." "You went through my phone?" His voice cracked. "You invaded my privacy?" I almost laughed. Almost. "Privacy? You left your statements on your desk. You got sloppy. Careless. You thought I was too stupid to notice. Too obedient to care. He reached for the envelope then, opened it with shaking hands. His eyes scanned the pages. With each line, he seemed to shrink a little more. You can't. Half of everything? Half of everything, I confirmed. Actually, more than half. Your attorney will explain. Marital asset dissipation. Financial infidelity. It's all documented. Who helped you with this? He looked up, eyes wild now. You couldn't have done this alone. I did it alone, I said. Turns out I'm a lot more capable than you ever gave me credit for. My phone buzzed. Right on schedule. I glanced at the screen. My brother will be here in 10 minutes to help me move the rest of my things. You'll be served with a restraining order if you try to contact me directly. All communication goes through my attorney now. Your brother? He looked genuinely confused. Your family knows about this. Everyone knows, I said, and I watched those words hit him like a slap. I told them everything. Your mother, your sister, our friends. I showed them the bank statements, the hotel receipts, the messages you thought you deleted but I recovered. His mouth opened, closed. No sound came out. They know what you are, I continued. They know how you treated me. Some of them saw it themselves. They just didn't know how bad it really was. You're ruining my life, he whispered. No, I said, picking up my purse. I'm saving mine. A car pulled into the driveway. My brother's truck. Right on time. Wait, he grabbed my arm. Not hard, but enough. Please, can't we talk about this? Fix this? I looked down at his hand on my arm, then up at his face, and I saw him. Really saw him. The man who'd made me feel small, invisible, worthless. The man who'd stolen 8 years of my life. Let go of me, I said. Calm, cold. He did. His hand dropped like I'd burned him. There's coffee in the pot, I said, walking toward the door. You know where the cups are. You know how to pour it yourself. I suggest you learn. Don't do this, he called after me, his voice breaking now. Actual tears. I'll change. I promise I'll change. I stopped at the doorway, looked back one last time. You had 8 years to change, I said. You had 8 years to see me, to respect me, to treat me like a human being. You chose not to. Every single morning, you made that choice. I love you, he said, desperate now, pathetic. No, I replied. You loved having someone to boss around, someone to serve you, someone too afraid to leave. But I'm not afraid anymore. I walked out the door. My brother helped me load the last suitcase into his truck. Behind me, I heard it. The sound I'd been waiting for. Nothing. Complete silence. He didn't yell, didn't chase me, didn't make demands. He just stood there in the kitchen doorway, holding divorce papers, finally understanding what it feels like to be powerless. 3 months later, I sat in my new apartment. Small, bright, all mine. Morning sunlight streamed through windows I'd chosen, curtains I'd picked, a life I'd built. The coffee maker on my counter was simple, just for one person. I made my cup slowly, savored every step. No rush, no commands, no fear. I carried it to my balcony, sat in my chair, watched the neighborhood wake up around me. My phone buzzed. A text from Janet. Brunch today? I smiled and typed back. I'll be there. Inside, my space was exactly how I wanted it. Clean, peaceful, free. I thought about him sometimes. Heard through mutual friends that he'd lost his job, that his family barely spoke to him, that the woman he'd been seeing left when she found out about the divorce, about the debt, about who he really was. I felt nothing about it. Not satisfaction, not pity, nothing. He'd finally learned to make his own coffee, and I'd finally learned something more important. I was never the maid. I was never the servant. I was never small. I was always enough. I just needed to remember. And now, every morning at 5:30, I wake up on my own terms, make my own coffee, live my own life. The only voice I hear is my own. And it's telling me something I should have heard years ago. You deserve peace. You deserve respect. You deserve a life where silence isn't a strategy. It's just the sound of freedom.